So my wife just handed me this book. She cracked it out of the box that it came in the mail. And yeah, this is volume 1 of the grand 5-volume series by Michael Spivak of the great calculus book and also the Manifolds little book. And Michael Spivak wrote this 5-volume series on differential geometry. And there are many editions of these books, not multiple editions of these books. This is the second edition. I think the third or whatever, if it's the third or fourth, I don't really know. But it's got pretty pictures, and you see these books being sold like $50, $60 a piece. I got this one for $45 shipped. And I plan to get all 5 of them, but I want to get them with the old cover, not the new pretty picture cover. And a funny story, I used to look at these books, friends, 30 years ago. Yes, in the 90s, in the early 90s. Actually, no, I used to look at these books when I was in undergrad in the late 80s. So 35 years ago, I used to look at these books and think and fantasize someday, you know, man, it'd be really cool to have the time and the effort to go through all 5 volumes. I would like to do that someday, but man, my reading list for books gets longer and longer. Now, for modern readers, most of my audience, I think, are people who are younger than I am. When you look at a book like this, you're like, oh my God, I'm going to have to read something that's actually typed. But I'm actually used to this. This is how all of my books used to be in the late 80s, early 90s, mid 90s, especially late 90s when I was doing physics. When I was doing my PhD in physics, the advanced book series from Addison, I think it's Addison Wesley, they were all typed up from the 80s. So I'm quite familiar with that. So I'm going to read just a little bit from the intro, and then I'll show some more differential geometry books just because we're here. And so one of the things that Spivak mentions is how there are different ways to tell the story of differential geometry, and I find that very troubling as a learner, as a noob, because you read one differential geometry book and you read another differential geometry book, and he says it in here. Yeah, even after one does master a modern treatment of differential geometry, other modern treatments often appear simply to be about totally different subjects. Exactly. And I'll give you examples because I have them. I have been very slowly amassing a small collection of differential geometry books just because it's one of the things that I wanna study. And the prime example is at some point in the Baby Rudin project, there is a chapter in Baby Rudin that's all differential geometry. Let me see, it's right here. It's called Integration of Differential Forms. And he uses wedge products, the wedge symbol. Right here, let me see, where is it? He uses differential forms, these little symbols. Well, you can find the differential geometry book that doesn't have a single one of these symbols. I think the visual one from Needham is one of them. Again, I don't want to make this video like 20 minutes long, but let me see if I can do this correctly without making a gigantic mess. So if you look in Needham's differential geometry book, you will, I don't think there's a single wedge. If there is, it's kind of like 5 pages somewhere. Whereas this introductory book, actually, which I think is probably the one that I'll end up reading when I get around to differential geometry, does have the wedge symbol. So yeah, and I think in the case of Del Carmo, which is a classic, so I am told, yeah, he does use wedge products. But then Tap, which is beautifully printed, great colors. When I looked through this book, I don't think I found a single one. Maybe he's got it hidden on some page. So again, I don't know how I'm going to do differential geometry because depending on which book I pick, it'll be a story told and it looks like it's just another language and another subject, and I think Michael Spivak rightfully so says so. But yeah, I just wanted to show you volume 1, and I'm planning to collect all 5, hopefully in the old covers, just because I have a collecting thing as well as wanting to do math.